wanted to make my third artist album, Intput-Output. I wanted to make a techno album, but also different styles within techno, whether it was musical techno, more peak time techno, or even electro tracks. And yeah, it was a lot of fun making it. With regards to the name Input-Output, it's very basic. It's whatever you put into a project, you get out. So, you know, I put a lot of passion and hard work into this project, and I'm very happy with the outcome. People seem to like it a lot, and I'm doing a big world tour right now. I think 50 gigs in 25 countries. So yeah, it's Input-Output. Whatever you put into it, you get out. So I'm very happy with this outcome, and yeah, I really enjoy making albums. I've been producing for many years, I think 15 years or something like that, or even 20 years. And am I making the strongest techno right now? I don't know. You know, because I've had moments in my career where I was going like, where I was really strong, more softer, really strong. Right now in my career, I'm very happy. I'm doing what I'm very comfortable with, and that I'm very passionate about. And yes, I did this single for Adam Bayer's Drum Code label. It did very well. Is this the best techno I can make? I don't know, but it's what I'm making right now. I always try to move on. For me, it's very important to evolve as an artist. I'm not an artist that always does the same. I would get really bored. And with regards to Swedish techno sound, yeah, in the late 90s there was a typical Swedish techno sound with a very compressed kick drums and lots of compression overall. But right now, I wouldn't say so, because there's many different artists from Sweden, from many different electronic genres, and they each have their own sound. So I would say the quality is very high, but a typical sound, not really. When I started my label Tronic, I went to the distributor and I said, hey, I want to start a label where I can release house tracks that techno DJs would play, and techno tracks that house DJs would play. And they were laughing at me. They're like, that's not gonna work. And yeah, 20 years later, Tronic is one of the biggest labels on Beatport. I think after Drum Code, Tronic is number 2. So yeah, the label is very strong. But what do I think about people implementing many different styles in their sets? I think it's amazing, because I think the most boring sets are the DJs that just play one style. You know, 2-3 hours just like. There's a lot of famous DJs actually, especially in techno, that play like continuous just one line, and to me, I'm sorry, it's boring. I like to be able to tell a story. I like to play longer sets and be able to go up and down, and that's the way I was raised as a DJ, to be able to entertain the crowd the whole night and going to different places, not just doing the same thing the whole time. Well, one of the single best advantages of being an international DJ is that I just need to live close to an international airport to do my job. So I really took advantage of it, and I moved to many different places. I lived in New York and Sao Paulo, you know, Barcelona, many different places, and I really loved it. I learned a lot living in these different places, talking to many different people, listening to their stories, and obviously getting influenced musically as well. I lived in New York for 7 years, and I was heavily influenced by the New York house scene back then, by Danny Tenaglia and Joe Clozel and all these Franz Kevorkian, all these people. Then I lived in Sao Paulo, where I have to say, even though Sao Paulo, Brazil is really famous for their samba and all this kind of stuff, didn't really influence me. I just enjoyed living there. And now I live in Palma de Mallorca in Spain, and I have to say I travel the world every year, and I'm super happy. I'm super happy in Spain. I like the culture, I like the people, and for me, Mallorca, Palma ticks the most boxes. You know, it's like there's no perfect place, but I'm really happy there, and I can see that the scene in Spain is getting up again, and I love playing here. So yeah, I really can't complain. I lived in Barcelona a couple of years, like 10 years ago, and this was before the recession started. So the scene was massive in Spain. We had clubs going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But now, because the high unemployment and the bad economy, many clubs only open one night a month. So it's much more difficult for the club owners to make a good, successful living, and there's less gigs for the international DJs. However, even though the economy is still very bad, I can feel that it's slowly getting better with the nightlife. You have a lot of festivals now that are doing really well. Dream Beach, the list goes on. There's quite a few. Medusa, there's quite a few festivals that are doing really well. Sona, of course, and yeah, and I think the future is really good. There's also a lot of good artists. Of course, the old artists like Oscar Molero, who I think is one of my heroes, because he's always pulled through his sound and he still does it, and I just immensely respect him for that. And but also many newer artists as well. So it's important for the newer people to produce a lot of records. I've released a bunch of Spanish artists on Tronic as well. And yeah, I think the scene is very healthy, and I think it's just gonna get better. Knock on wood, no. What I heard with this Jeff Mills thing is really sad. The same thing happened to him a few years ago in Italy as well. And I mean, what to do? How can you throw a bottle at a DJ? Because the electricity cut. It's not the DJ's fault if the electricity cut. Probably this kid took too much drugs, didn't know what he was doing, but that doesn't make it right. You know, it's very sad that this happened, and I hope this will not happen again. It should never happen to begin with, but again, I think it's just a kid that was either too drunk or with too much drugs, didn't know what he was doing. My philosophy has always been, I want to release music on Tronic that I play in my sets. Whether it's from house to in between house and techno, you know, from like jacking house to hard techno. Really, I'm very open-minded. I'm not a purist at all, and I think the success of the label is largely because I never really looked to make money with it. It was always just a hobby and a passionate thing. You know, I just released music that I play in my sets that I love, and I'm very happy that the label's still around and doing very well. I'm doing lots of label showcases all over the world. And I also do a really big Tronic beach festival during Sona, which has a couple of thousand people every year. And yeah, it's just it's a lot of work, but it's really nice to see the result of the success as well. Tronic has a lot of stuff going on right now. ADE is this week, as a matter of fact, and I have a big Tronic showcase. It's a club called Q Factory. Then I have BPM in Playa del Carmen in Mexico. I'm doing a Tronic showcase there. I'm doing a Tronic festival during Sonar for like 5,000 people, and lots of club gigs as well. You know, Tronic parties in Buenos Aires, in Tokyo, and you know, really all over the world. I'm hoping to do around 20 to 30 Tronic parties next year. This year I did around 10, and the people seem to like them a lot, because it's not just I who play, but it's also other artists from the label, and sometimes I don't even play. Sometimes it's a Tronic party, and just a few other Tronic acts like Weba or Eric Sneo or or Anna or other artists play, and it's great. And they have a good time together, and when I am there, I also party with them together, and the audience can see that, and they feed off the energy, and it tends to be really good. I think ADE has become the single most important conference in the world. They have BPM, but that's not really a conference, that's just parties. They have Miami, also just parties. They have, what else do they have? They have so many of them. They have some in Asia now, but most of them are just parties or very academic, like IMS in Ibiza, where just a bunch of older guys talk, and it's really expensive to go to attend. So it's really just for the wealthy people. So ADE is a place where the normal people can go to and can get a real insight to the industry and listen to real professionals talk about the industry. And I think everybody who works in the industry should at least go there once and attend the panels. It's really interesting. I mean, I'm going there this week. I will not have time to attend the panels, but I really like to attend, but also sometimes I also give speeches, and I think it's really important to educate the people, you know, the aspiring DJs and producers, tell them what mistakes I've made, that they don't make the same mistakes, or give them some advice of how they can grow their career. And for these kind of things, I think ADE is really good. And also, besides the panels, there's a lot of good parties going on. Lots of high quality events with really good lineups. The only bad thing about ADE is the weather. To be honest, I don't know much about it. The only thing I know about Upper Club is that my booking agent said, hey Christian, it's a Wednesday party, it's really small and it's really packed. Hey, and they have good sound. What more does anybody want? You know, a small, packed, great club. I'm really looking forward to it because I really enjoy playing in intimate crowds where people have lots of energy, and yeah, I heard good things and I'm really looking forward to it. Un saludo a toda la familia de Beat Soup.